So, good morning, folks. I'm just getting up. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get in last night from my run until about 7:40 back to the yard, and then, uh, it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half to get home. So, when I got home last night, I was out, right? Um, but I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the info that has come out this week concerning Russia sending intercontinental ballistic missile into Ukraine. Now, what a lot of people haven't been talking about is this actual missile had MIRVs on it. What that is it's little tiny little warheads that are self-propelled, and it can carry quite a few of those. And so that one missile could have 10 warheads on it. Now, this could have easily been a nuclear missile. That could have very easily been a nuclear missile. However, I think they showed great restraint in not doing so. But what I've heard is everybody freaking out. Well, there's really no reason to freak out, okay? This was an actual warning shot, okay? Freaking out ain't gonna change things, and there's nothing we can really do about it. But I think that in the prepper community, we need to talk about some of the things that we can do in case of this going nuclear. And one of those is iodine tablets. Okay? Now, for me, being my age, I don't have to worry about that. But for younger people, they definitely need to be taking iodine tablets if a nuclear explosion happens or a nuclear meltdown happens. I think we're more concerned right now with our nuclear power plants here in the U.S. Not being maintained. Okay? If you go down some of the rabbit holes, you'll find out that the generators and such that power the cooling system are not being properly maintained, right? And anybody who's worked in any kind of business knows that people get kind of lackadaisical, right? And they just do what they have to do to make their money, right? And we see that even in the trucking industry, right? People only do what they have to do in order to get their money, right? They don't take care of the equipment. They don't do pre-trips. They don't do post-trips. It takes extra time, right? I understand it, okay? Because yesterday I did like 400 and something miles, and normally I only do 150 miles, right? As a local driver. So I comprehend it a little bit, but let me explain something to you. If you don't maintain your equipment, you're going to end up like I am. I have this generator here, and I didn't maintain this generator, and it sat for a year. And I thought, well, let me pull it out of the shed, put some fuel in it, and crank it up. Well, that didn't happen. It wouldn't crank. So I ended up having to take this generator all the way to West Virginia to one of the members in Prepper Nurse One's group to take home to work on it in order to get this thing to run, and it doesn't run correctly. So, lesson learned, um, I'm out on this generator probably $800 to $900. Okay? So, learn from my mistake, right? Maintain your equipment. Now, I'm just talking about a generator. I'm not even talking about the big truck, right? If you don't take care of your big truck, you're going to end up broke down on the side of the road, and then you're not making any money. So that extra 5 to 15 minutes that it takes you to do a good pre-trip will save you in the long run. And I think that with the way we're looking at possible World War III starting, I think that we need to do a little bit more preparation, especially if you're over the road driver. You should always have and maintain enough money in your account or on you, right? Or stored somewhere safe where you can get home, right? I really believe that if you are traveling for work, you should have at least one bag in your vehicle which consists of enough survival equipment to get you from wherever you're at to your home, right? Because that's the whole point of it, right? Is you want to get home, you want to get in familiar area, and it, God forbid, your home is gone because of a nuclear explosion. You want to have enough to where you can survive for a few days until you figure out what you're going to do, right? So a lot of things are going on, and at the same token, a lot of information is coming out that's been hidden for decades, right? And so we need to just get back to basics and just think about what do we do in the possibility of everything, right? Pinball talked about this morning. He talked about, planning your garden for next year. Okay, we should be doing that now, right? For those of us who are just now starting to get cold, we need to get those last few fall crops in, right? For those of you who have animals, we need to start thinking about, okay, we're getting ready to move into 3 to 4 months of winter, so we should have on hand enough food for those animals to last through the winter, right? You should be doing your last minute shopping for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and topping off everything as far as food wise goes, to last you through March. Now, this is a prepper mentality. Some of you can't do that. Some of you will only do enough to last you till next week. That's fine. Okay, but you need to be thinking of this, and you need to also be thinking about, do I have any money set to the side in case of an emergency? That being said, this past week I had a little bit of an emergency and had to go to the dentist, and it cost me $1,163. Okay, and I'm looking at another $2,200 by the second week in December. So maintenance is not only about your equipment, it's also about you. And you need to maintain yourself healthy. You need to maintain your equipment, and you need to do these preventive maintenance checks, right? But yeah, that's kind of what I've been mulling over this week, and just absolutely bizarre world right now, and the best thing we can do is just stay grounded in reality, right? And not let our minds travel off with all these crazy ideas that, oh, this is going to happen, that. No, look, get back down to reality. Yeah, you might have to do it hour by hour or day by day, but just do the best you can. Okay? You don't have to spend a ton of money to put back food for your family for the winter. You really don't. Okay? Um, if you have like a family of 8, maybe, but most people have 2 kids, 2 parents, and maybe a dog or a cat, right? That's not going to cost an outrageous amount of money to prepare for a couple months, right? But if you haven't done anything, especially if you're on a truck, it can be a little bit more difficult, and you need to think about your own health, not only physically but mentally, right? Because you can lose it out here. I lost it yesterday. I was driving the truck and I was cussing out, right? I was losing it because I was like, I'm a local driver. What the hell am I doing 250 miles away from the house, right? I'm not supposed to be this far out, right? So my thing is if I need to go off, I go off in the truck away from everybody. I don't go off on people. And I let it out. And I go off. And I continue on and I do the job, right? Sometimes you got to do that and just don't go off on your boss, okay? And the reason I say don't go off on your boss is the minute you go off on your boss is the minute you're going to stop getting freight. And that's going to affect your paycheck. So if you need to go off, go off inside the truck, walk away from the truck for 5-6 minutes, go off, have people look at you like you're crazy. It doesn't matter. Go off, let the steam off, right? And then get back to the job that you need to do. Yeah, that's what I've got for you today, and I hope it's helpful. And I know I'm just kind of rambling because I really have been all over the map this week. And I think that a lot of people are the same way this week. They've just been all over the map, right? And yeah, we need to just settle down and just do what we need to do. Okay, bicycle.